I also think that the movie wouldn't have been as great of a film if he would have came out. I feel like his death adds to the perfectness, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got
because of that tragedy. Him, because you have to really, you want to feel like, the bad guys won until Wahlberg shows up. And then you feel like, what I mean? So it all comes to a very tight close by the end, and I love that.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Yeah, I like that. Let me think. Here's a question. Do you think that Frank's guy, the one that they say on the news, turns up to be an undercover cop?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that he actually was an undercover cop? That's why he didn't rat out Leo? Or do you think that was just the cops covering up for Leo so they would try to get Frank to stop looking for the rat?
Now that you say that, I always thought it was because Nicholson's paranoid thinking. He automatically thinks, they're just saying he's a cop, so I won't try to look for the real cop. But the fact that Nicholson himself was an informant for the FBI, now that you're saying that, he very well could be. He could have been another undercover, and that's why he doesn't give up. He doesn't give him up.
Yeah, and you find out that there's another rat working for Frank at the end of the movie,
which he if you pay attention, he's a smaller character, but towards the beginning, he's in the Stadies with Damon's character, and they have they kind of go back and forth, and Colin's character makes fun of him a little bit,
because
he's like a little bit higher up. And the guy just gives him this look, and I think it was because he was on the inside the whole time.
He was like, I know why you're going up.
Yeah, Colin didn't know that he was the other informant.
Yeah, I think that was a cool little twist, too, at the end.
Yeah. He's the one who takes out DiCaprio.
Yeah. And, another question?
I do. So, do you have any thoughts on the soundtrack? What do you think of the soundtrack of this film? I feel like Scorsese always has very like a distinct taste in music. He's got like the Rolling Stones and a bunch of other, and even like the actual, like the original score for this is very like when you hear it isolated, you're like, this is from The Departed.
Yeah.
That do 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 stuff like that.
No, I liked it. I'm trying to think of what was on the actual soundtrack. Like what songs? Like it fit with the movie. Like it went along with it. I'm trying to think. Now I'm drawing a blank.
It's a lot of, if I'm thinking correctly, it's a lot of classic rock. Okay.
Yeah, something that one of the songs in particular that stuck out to me was I'm not really familiar with the name of the band or anything, but the Irish rock that plays in part of the movie.
I think it's the you're talking about the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty big famous punk band from Boston.
Okay.
I guess that's their thing, is that they're like very super Irish.
Okay.
And I really love them, actually. But yeah, I think that song really sets the tone for what the movie turns out to be.
Yeah.
And they end up playing it later on towards the end too, when they're on their way, when they're making the drive to when everybody gets caught, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think. And it's cool because the music in this seems to have very abrupt cuts. Like it's playing, and then the characters are doing something, and then they have an interaction with someone else, and then the music just boom.
Cuts off. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's almost like if they're, it's like in their head, and then it just stops when somebody interrupts it. And so I really like that, how it kind of meshes with the film in that way.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's probably I know I hear them a lot in movies just specifically that song.
Yeah.
I guess it's probably one of their most popular songs to date. But yeah, no, I like the soundtrack. Specifically that song. That one sticks out to me the most.
Nice.
Especially when you think about like Boston or something.
Yeah. I actually got to see them live for the very first time. I've liked them for years, and I got to see them in San Bernardino. It was the It's Not Dead Fest too.
Okay.
They co-headlined with Rancid, and they played this song, and I was just like, this is crazy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
Oh, man. Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah. My question?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So Madeline's character reveals to Damon that she is pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I personally believe that it's actually Leo's baby.
Yep.
And she's just telling it to him to maybe keep him with her, to kind of something like that. That's what I think. Because she says it's his. She says it's Matt Damon's baby.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on that?
Okay. For anybody who hasn't seen this movie in a long time or hasn't seen it yet, and you still are choosing to listen, they basically, Vera Farmiga, or Madeline's character, they meet and they start a relationship, and she is a kind of a therapist for other cops and people in the department. So she ends up meeting Costigan, or Leo's character, and they develop a relationship as well. But Matt Damon's character, she ends up moving in with her Matt Damon's character, who's her kind of boyfriend, and she still starts seeing Leo's character.
Yeah.
So she's kind of I guess, cheating, as he was, say. But to her defense, Matt Damon is very weird, and because he's obviously hiding a big secret, he's kind of standoffish and doesn't really pay her the attention that she kind of needs. So, of course, somebody goes and seeks it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Not saying that that's
the right thing to do.
Yeah, the right thing to do at all. But I'm saying things happen. And that leads me to something else, another kind of hidden...
something you brought up, which was...
hidden theory.
Yeah, it blew my mind when I started to catch on to it.
Is... I really think that they're I guess like dropping subtle hints throughout the movie that Matt Damon is struggling with maybe his homosexuality a little bit, and I feel like I have a good argument with this.
When you brought it up, and then you explained to me like the I think there's like two scenes that happened as you brought it up. You're like, see, this is, I think this is what's happening. And I was like, oh, yeah, like, that makes sense. And then there's other things that, like, as I was watching the movie...
It almost, like, it
opens up a door, like, to, like, something that you're seeing on the other side. Like, you're like, wow, like, oh, crap, that's something else I didn't see in this movie, which kind of, it blows your mind. I mean, like, those little hints and it's crazy.
Because, there's this scene right after I pitched you that theory.
Yeah.
Vera and him have this scene where it's like the morning after they've tried to sleep together, I guess, and she's like, "Don't worry, this happened. This is quite common." And I guess she was kind of talking about him not being able to get hard, I think, or to really
become aroused.
Yeah, with her.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really say much. And there's other things. Was it in the beginning? He makes fun of firemen, saying that they're pussies and they're gay out of nowhere.
Yeah,
out of context.
Out of nowhere, just. And that tends to be the case a lot with, from like
people in the closet. I guess.
Who they lash out to other, people like them who. Because they're kind of scared or to admit it to themselves, so they lash out towards those other people, and even if they're not, and like how he did with the firemen, who knows if they were gay or not, but I mean they did. I think what they do, like a victory hug or something. They're all like jumping together, celebrating. He's like, fucking gay,
yeah.
And then he's like, fucking quiz. He's like fucking 5-minute quiz. And then, but yeah, he does it a lot.
He does.
Yeah, and the whole thing where I was telling you about he's about to kiss Madeline, and the doorbell rings, and it rings one time, then he goes in to kiss her, and he kisses her for like 1 second, and then it rings again. And he's like, fucking move us, and he's like, always interrupting at the right time, and he leaves, and it's something.
I feel like it's very like
every time they get intimate, they're about to get intimate, something always comes.
Something
up.
interrupts. Yeah, interrupts it, and then towards the end when Leo realizes that Damon or Colin's character is the mole inside the police department, he's like, I want my identity back or something. And then he's like, oh, don't worry, we're gonna get your money, alright? And he's like, no, I want my life back, you two-faced faggot.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And I feel like that's him. Who knows if he really actually knows if he's struggling with that or not. But I feel like that was written in there to kind of... Because Damon looks at the phone like he's very offended by that. You know what I mean? And when you look at it... I guess look at the movie a little deeper. I feel like that probably affected him. Yeah. Because... think about this. Here's another one. I don't know if you noticed, but when Nicholson and Matt Damon meet up in the porn theater, they start the scene off with Matt Damon looking very uncomfortable.
I was going to bring that up during the movie, actually.
Because it's just I think it's like a lesbian porn that they're playing, and he can't even look at the screen. He's just looking away, looking around. He doesn't know what to do with himself. Yeah, so I thought that was very interesting, right?
Yeah, and I caught now that you brought that to my attention, I caught on to it right away, and I don't think I would have. Eventually, I probably would have, but you bringing that up was an eye opener.
Yeah, I've watched this movie a lot of times. This might be the most watched film of Scorsese's for me personally, and I'm just realizing this now.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, whoa, this is insane.
It's layers to that movie, man.
Yes. Any more questions for me? I think that was my. I have one more for you.
But did you think that it is Leo's?
Oh yeah, going back to let me finish yours. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
because they show that scene of them. They go out of their way to show you an intimate scene between Madeline and Leo's character, and I think Matt Damon being impotent, I think is the name. Of course, it's. I feel like they stray away from this. Couldn't be his baby. It's actually Leo's baby, and it's meant to be kind of ironic because they're rivals, and kind of each other's arch nemesis, if you will. Yeah. And they're seeing the same woman, and they have no idea about it. Yeah. And I feel like that's so complex and fucking like a mind fuck. Yeah. Out of all of Boston, you guys are.
She ends up with they both end up with the same lady.
And then she figures it out in the end too.
Yeah, and what do you think the whole thing about him wanting to leave and start over again in a new city was about?
I think he wanted to flee, maybe leave the life.
Just get out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that he was just over it, and he was scared. Yeah. Of getting caught because his life would have been, well, it is over now. Yeah. But his life would have been over at that point. Anything else?
Do you think Madeline knew that he was probably gay? Or dealing with something like that?
I don't know. That's hard to tell.
For me, I got that feeling because when he talks about leaving the city and going to a new place, and then he says, you don't have to come with me, and he's like, if you don't want to, and then she's kind of crying. I thought maybe she's kind of like understanding that like